Okay, so I did this video sometime last year, but I thought since we're in the new year, I will do an updated version of frequently asked questions when trying to switch over to cloth pads or thinking about switching over to cloth pads. Okay, so let's get started. The minimum number of cloth pads I'll need, what is that? Okay, so I think you could get away with 6 pads, a few day pads, and maybe 1 night pad or 2 night pads. And that's all going to depend on maybe you want to use a cup. You really don't need any pads, maybe a few liners just to make sure when you're trying to get the hang of the cup, that kind of thing. But you could make, even if you didn't use a cup, I think you could make 6 pads work. I feel most comfortable with, if I had to like get rid of everything but what I actually really felt comfortable with, I think I would want at least 4 heavy, 2 moderate, and 2 overnight. And that is, I could probably do that and wash every other day. And that would be a normal day. If I had an extremely heavy days, which I don't always, and this is based on me, and I normally have kind of light periods, but now and again I have like a real heavy day or have a heavier period, but still it's not to the extent I need a really good amount of pads. So I feel most comfortable with, what should I say, 4, 5, 6, at least 8. If I was going to, get rid of everything and use just what I absolutely needed to, I think I could do 8. Now, I would feel much more comfortable having 15. Me personally, I would never ever get rid of enough, I would not go down to 8. I would never want to go below 15 to really feel like comfortable that I was going to have clean pads there every time I needed them. Okay, so the next question would be, do I need anything else to switch? Okay, so if you're going to be switching to a cup, I would say you might want some sterilizing, something to sterilize it. You can get tablets, that kind of stuff, or you can just boil it. In that case, you really don't need anything else. You might want kind of something to set your cup on, maybe some kind of wipe it out if you want to go reusable products. And if you were wanting to go to the pad route, you may want a stain remover. Not all fabrics will stain. Some will be more prone to staining, and you can combat that by getting stain removers. My favorite is Bunch of Farmers Stain Stick. Do cloth pads and cups smell? If your cup smells, there's something wrong. It may need thrown away. You're not cleaning it properly. No, it should not smell. And cloth pads, they don't really smell either. I do personally think that blood in any kind of form has a little bit of a smell. So if you think that too, then yes, it will smell a tad bit, like you'll smell something, but I don't think it smells bad. Not like when you use disposables. Will the pad stain? I kind of just talked about this, but will the pad stain? It's possible. It's blood. So there's always a possibility that it could stain the fabric. But like I said, if, minky fabrics, crushed velvet, that stuff tends to never stain. But bamboo velour, cotton, sometimes flannel, that stuff can be more prone to staining. So you can soak before you wash. You can soak in OxiClean. You can use a bunch of Farmer's stain stick on it. There's many ways to get stains out. I've never had much of a problem with staining if you take certain measures to solve that problem. But most of the time it's not an issue. Most of my pads I can just throw in, do a pre-wash and a regular wash, and they are fine. How uncomfortable is it to clean cloth pads? In the beginning, before I started cloth diapering and that kind of thing, you know, if I thought about this, I would think it's very kind of disgusting. I know what disposable pads like, taking them off and throwing them away. And it's pretty disgusting. But I'm not a person that does well with blood. I'm actually, over this past year, have gotten really comfortable with my period and that kind of stuff. But I'm still not really comfortable with blood. I'm just very squeamish with it. People get cuts, that kind of thing. But I don't think it's a big deal to clean. It's, I just don't know really how to explain it. Once I started using cloth pads and this kind of stuff, it's helped me get more in tune with my body and helped me just kind of realize that, that kind of stuff's not really something to be ashamed of, and you don't really have to be ashamed of it. And so it's really not that bad to clean. Sometimes I wash mine out in the sink, whatever, when they're fresh, depending if the fabric's really prone to staining. But a lot of the times I can just, especially with Minky and fabrics like that, I can just put them in my wet bag. And this is the wet bag that I use. I just put them in my wet bag and I leave them, and maybe for a day and a half, and then I throw them in with our cloth diapers. I do a pre-rinse, and it is cold water, and then I do a wash cycle in hot. So I don't find them very uncomfortable to wash. How do you clean cloth pads? Well, there's not really a wrong way to clean cloth pads unless you're not cleaning them. So like I just said, that's what I do with mine. I clean them with the cloth diapers. You can hand wash. You can wash them in the sink. You can wash them in your bathtub. You can run out all the blood. You can get small plastic containers, like I have done a cloth pad washing machine, and I will link that below for you. And it's just a container that I fill up. I put something in, and it's hand washing, but with a container instead of just using completely your hands. So that's also an option. And just throwing them in the washing machine. You can wash them if you cloth diaper. You can wash them with your cloth diapers. If you want to wash them by yourself, you can. If you want to wash them with your regular clothes, you can also do that. Do cloth pads leak? Yes, it's possible. It's also possible for disposable pads to leak. Same thing with cups. Cups should not leak if they are left in for an appropriate amount of time, which you have to figure out depending on the size that you get and your flow. Same with cloth pads. You have to get the length that works best for you and the absorbency that works best for you, and you have to know when to change them. If you do that, you shouldn't have a problem. How do you change away from the house? Well, I just carry a wet bag or a pad wrapper with me, and I just take the amount of pads I'll need. And usually I have a purse or something like that. And if I don't have a purse, I usually have pockets or something, and I take just something small. And it depends how long I'm going to be out. And I just throw my used pads, I wrap them up and just throw them in there, and I go. Do you really save money using these things? Yes, they are more of an investment up front, but I do believe that you save money in the long run. Yes, you may be paying like $8 for a pad, but that may last you for years, whereas the disposable, it's cheaper, but it is going to add up over time. And yes, if you buy 100 pads for your stash, you may not be saving money, but you may not be in it to save money. But it is possible to use cloth pads and save money versus disposables. So this video is already super long. I hope you have enjoyed my updated frequently asked questions video, and thank you for watching.